The next big turnaround was Rise Up Kings. I spent years being depressed because I had a lot more than I ever imagined I could achieve. Money, I mean, we did really well. I didn't know how to handle money well, so we helped a lot of friends, borrowed people money, and ended up giving it to them. And we lost so many friends through that. I didn't know the power of losing friendships over money. Like, we were just trying to help. Then it was like when we made all this money. I love vehicles. I have pretty much every vehicle I ever wanted, except for some exotic cars I'd like to collect. But outside of that, I have pretty much everything I could ever wish for. So there was nothing to aspire to. There was like, what do I do next? And I spiraled into a bad depression for years, which the worst part of that was just taking my wife through it. Like, I could see the pain in her face, getting up in the morning and hoping the day would end. I've never been suicidal, but I just wished that the day would end and hoped the next day was going to be better. And it just never happened.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Builder's Bible. I'm joined by my friend Herman Wieler, who has a number of different businesses: restaurant, nonprofit, diesel repair. He's got a few things going on, so I'm excited to pick his brain. And he also has an incredibly powerful story, which I'm excited to hear more about. Herman, you have a few businesses. Tell us how you got started.
So I got started. I guess it really would start from growing up in old Mexico. When I got married, first we moved to Canada, hated it. Moved back to Mexico, couldn't make a living. We came here 19 years ago. My dad always wanted to be a farmer. My dad had an automotive repair shop, but always wanted to be a farmer. So when I came here, I became a farmhand and figured I'd like it. It was absolutely miserable. I hated it. But it's the only thing I knew. I mean, I didn't even know that well. Someone gave me a chance to work at an oil field company, which in my opinion was something like you had to have a degree and all this stuff. I didn't even finish equivalent to high school in Mexico. I dropped out. So I got an opportunity to work there, and I loved it so much so Gary Spearman was my foreman, or he was also superintendent for the company. And he kind of took me under his wing, and he's one of those people that once in a lifetime people you meet that doesn't see color or anything. He just, if you work, he will take care of you. And it's probably good Gary didn't know this, but I thought back then, if Gary would have me sign a piece of paper saying that he'll take care of my family, that I would work for free. That's how much I loved it. I didn't know that work, you could actually enjoy what you do. I didn't know that was a thing. In my opinion, kind of growing up religious household, it was work is miserable, and it's just the way it's going to be. We're just miserable, and we go through life that way, and one day we die, and if we do it well enough, we'll go to heaven. That was kind of the idea. And after about 4 years there at D&D Pipeline, Gary ended up moving on. The company changed, and I started my own diesel shop, which did 3 years did really badly. We went from making 140 a year to making 20 grand a year, absolutely miserable. I loved the work, absolutely loved it. But my wife wouldn't let me quit. The power of a spouse, man, it's a good partner makes all the difference. And she after 2 years, she's like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And she's like, nope, you're going to do it one more year. I said, nope, I'm not. And I walked away. Well, Monday I went back to work. And that year we made a lot of money. We did really well. We started some tuning and did really well. From there, I started tuning on tractors and heavy equipment, which that's still going. It's going really strong. That's 15 years ago. I've had a diesel shop 15 years now. And a lot of it is changing. So it's a steep learning curve for me because, like I said, I don't know a lot of the tools that are available, and learning how to hire people that know how to use them or can help me how to use them is also new to me. Yeah. Which is what I see is what I need to do.
Well, we were just talking before you hopped on, and I'm gonna use this in a way as a shout out for just virtual assistants in the Philippines in general. So you went with a buddy of mine, John, set you up with
Mhm.
a virtual assistant in the Philippines, and it sounds like it was kind of a big leap for you, but it sounds like it's going pretty well.
It is. So we've had like actually just 1 or 2 days together. Her grandfather ended up passing away. And so she's been off this week. But yeah, that first day, like I started with simple stuff like cleaning up my email because I don't get to it. I hate it. And I'm like, I'll give her my two main emails that I use. She'll be probably on that for a day. And then, by then I'll figure something else out. 15 minutes later, she's like, all right, what else do you need? Like, that's and then just the qualifications. Reading over her resume looked like dude, like I don't even know how to talk to this person
Yeah.
with all the qualifications. So I'm super excited to just kind of throw her some tasks, like how to make, because I've tried to make SOPs for my shop,
Mm.
and they're so convoluted. Like I know I was a mechanic for years. I loved it. And I know what to do, but I put so much shit in there that nobody will pay attention. I know that nobody will. I wouldn't use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's something that when she's back, we'll have her do and see how that goes, and also some of the bookkeeping, like how to make that more efficient, like
Yeah.
whatever I can come up with. And sounds like it's gonna like I said, if everything goes as well as that first part. And I need somebody to give me ideas, like show me like these are my options, and something will come out. I have 1,000 different ideas, and we make it work if I just have somebody to kind of like these are the options. Which one do you want?
The curse of the entrepreneur. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So you alluded to your story earlier. I'd love for you to share if there's an under 5 minute version of that. I would love for you to share that with your audience because it sounds like it was pretty powerful.
A story as in like my business or just life?
No, your life. Yeah. You talked about, your time in Bolivia, Mexico. Yeah. Tell the audience a little bit about, the powerful turnaround that you experienced.
Yeah, so I was 6 when we moved from Bolivia, which I grew up like Mennonite, but not like Amish Mennonite. It's similar, but not the same. And I was 6, we moved to Mexico, grew up there, and I was trouble, man. Like, I made running from a cop's a sport. Like, I spent lots of time in jail over there, and it never really got into drugs or drinking, but just had an bit of adrenaline junkie, I guess. And before I got married, I got saved, got rid of, quit smoking, quit drinking completely. Which, like I said, I never really bad at it, but just had a regular habit. But through the years, like I didn't know, I had never had a relationship with God, and somebody invited me to an event called the Men's Encounter. It's here in West Texas,
Hmm.
and it was exactly that. I had an encounter with God. Like I have three like major life changes. That was the first one,
Hmm.
except for like coming to Christ in the first place, which was also very powerful. I had a dream of like the world was ending, and I cried for help and woke up with that. Went to the church. Church was closed, and I stood in the door because, in my opinion, I had to go talk to a pastor to get saved, and like there was no pastor to talk to, so I stood in the door and just looked up, like asked for help, like give me a chance. I want to change, and that changed. My anger went away. You had a uncontrollable rage before
Hmm.
that went away, and but I never really knew what it was like to have a relationship. So that happened with the Men's Encounter, and from there, the next big turnaround was Rise Up Kings. I spent years being depressed because I had everything. I had a lot more than I ever imagined I could achieve. Money.
Hmm.
I mean, we did really well. I didn't know how to handle money well, so we helped a lot of friends. Borrowed people money and were giving it to them, and we lost so many friends through that. Like, just I didn't know the power of losing friendships over money. Like, we're just trying to help,
Yeah.
and so then it was like when we made all this money. I love vehicles. I have pretty much every vehicle I ever wanted, except for some exotic cars I'd like to collect. But outside of that, I have pretty much everything I could ever wish for. So there was nothing to aspire to. There was like, what what do I do next? And I spiraled into a bad depression for years. Which the worst part of that was just taking my wife through it. Like I could see the pain in her face, getting up in the morning and hoping the day would end. I've never been suicidal, but I just wished that the day would end and hoped the next day was going to be better, and it just never happened until, um, yeah, a friend of mine asked me about Rise of Kings. He's in Florida, and he ended up going like 2 years later. But I was going to go check it out, and also the price tag was something that got me to go in the first place. My opinion was there's no way that you can, back then it was like 5 grand. There's no way that you can put 5 grand worth of stuff in 3 days. It's not possible. Was my opinion. So I was going to go prove it, and I was wrong. it was a lot more worth than the 5 grand that I got out of it. And just the last day, uh, seeing what you can push your body through if your mind is clear on what you want was, it's something I still keep to this day. And then I
Is
went
that
through
that
Forge.
Skylar says when the intention is clear, the mechanism appears, or something like that?
That's the one. Yeah, I easily get lost in that, and like, oh, let me figure this out before I jump. I used to not be that way. It used to be like, all right, let's go. We'll figure it out when we get there. And I built a couple of companies, and then there's the fear of losing everything.
Mm-hmm.
So and this fear of, if I don't have a good plan, everything will go down.
Yeah.
And it's so you're remembering that. It's one of the most powerful things I think of. And then I don't know if you've been to Forge, but Forge also has a version of that that's really powerful. And it just the community. Like I have, like my closest people are my closest friends. Very few of them live here close to me.
Mm-hmm.
I have Abe Neufeld, or Abe Martins, which he worked for me for like 10 years, and he started his own business. He's almost like a son to me. Like we're very close. Both me and him, our wives are close. She was my secretary for years. But outside of that, I don't have anybody that pulls me up. And that was the biggest thing I think that came out of it, especially the Forge. Like find yourself somebody that can pull you up. And I had a lot of self-worth issues. Like I didn't see myself worthy of having friends that would pull me up. Like if I couldn't bring something to the table where they would get something out of it, then like why would they even talk to me? That was my view of it. And I realized that's even Jeremy said something one day when I was volunteering. We were done with the cleanup, and Jeremy turned around and says, "I'm glad you're here, because when you're around, there's peace." And this was one of those where like James was there, and like we pulled all kinds of shit, obviously outside of the group, but we had a lot of fun outside of volunteering. And I'm like, like, are you serious? Like all the shit that we pulled, and like there's peace. And he has this like serious face where you see it and you're like no more bullshit. It's time to shut up. And he looked at me with that look, and it was like, no, I'm serious. When you're around, there's peace. And I realized like I could bring something to the table by not even trying. And that could be like why I have the friends that I do. Like I have really good friends. Jed Beal's one. He's big in the rock community. The guy that got me to go in the first place, he's got his own network of people, but he's somebody I'm very close to. He helps me a lot with the business, with like ideas on what to do with profit and loss and how to structure it. Not, if a job takes too long, I'm very easy to go to, let's just get it out. I don't care what I lose. Let's just be done with it. He's like, well, stop and think about it. Like, is there some way to salvage it? And that's a lot of times there is. Just take a different approach. So there's been, like I said, my greatest people have come through Ruck. And then the other big life change event has been the coaching with the coaches training with Victor.
Mm.
It's something that, as my shop and my businesses don't need me that much anymore, I've got free time, and I have decided I'm going to try to become a professional coach.
I love that. So I have a question for you. So with all the different things that you're doing, what takes up most of your brain space every day? Like, is it one of the three businesses? Like, what do you feel like you spend the most time on?
It's all three, really. So my wife basically runs her restaurant herself, and but I assist in it in some ways
Mhm.
because she's so much better at really scaling a business than I could ever be. So I love seeing that. I learn from it, and I have like technological things I know that she has trouble with, like implementing how to use simple things like PDF files, things like that, or using even ChatGPT. I help her with that and just watch her. But as for brain space, yeah, I think it's all of it. I mean, Mondays and Tuesdays afternoons, I really dedicate to the coaching. Like I have two clients that I'm working with right now, and I'm also assisting in the next coaching um, training with the level one with Victor. So the first 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, is really mornings. I go to pretty much every morning. I go to the shop, make sure everything's there's a plan in place for the week or for the day and the week. The performance business really doesn't need my attention. I've got some really good guys in there that, like, basically if a new computer comes up that we haven't seen before, then I'll help troubleshoot it, find a ways to read it. But outside of that, they pretty much got it
Okay,
covered.
so talk to me about this performance business. I'm still confused as to what it really is. Like, what exactly is the business?
So it's similar to the vehicles, the diesel pickups. We take a read out of the engine, the torque maps, fuel maps, timing maps, things like that, and like fine tune them for either better performance, better fuel economy, or both. And we can do a lot with, like, if you get it more efficient, your whole emission system works better as well. You use less there's less downtime with um, problems with the sensors, things like that. So, but it's
Yeah.
mainly geared towards fuel economy and power.
Mm.
But it's for tractors. Not We don't do pickups. The market, there's so many people in that market that are really really good that it's harder to compete in it.
So, okay, so I come to you with my semi or my tractor. What are you doing it on?
Both, but mainly tractors is the one we're most busy with. Tractor
Okay,
and heavy
so
equipment.
maybe I have a farm or
Mm-hmm.
somewhere where I use my tractor a lot, and basically I want to figure out how I can get more oomph from my tractor to do more work um, for its longevity and for its performance, right?
Yeah, and you really the biggest one is fuel economy. So we did a 580 horse Challenger some years ago in Corpus Christi. Corpus Christi has like that black dirt that's really tough that they break every year, and we tuned that one. I think we gave it like 10 or 15% because it was a high horsepower, it was 580 horsepower, big V12 engine, a man engine. So there's on a big engine like that, you have to, depending on the horsepower where it's at, like that particular 580 was already at the top of where they have like 3 or 4 different models with the same engine. If it's on the low end, we can add up to 20%. Higher end, a little bit less. So we added about 12 to 15% to it. That tractor saved about 300 gallons of fuel in one day.
That's insane.
That's
See, my
absolutely
brain
nuts.
is. I feel like on the one hand, I'm like, are there really that many people that care about the performance of their tractor? Like, is this like a big market? And then that little nugget that you just dropped there, that blew my mind. So you're basically, I'm assuming you probably earn your take just in what you provide through the performance of the tractors.
That
Yeah.
really is the big selling point is, yeah, the customer gets his money back usually. In a smaller tractor, they're not all the same. The John Deere tractors overall don't do as well. So that particular tractor would go through about 900 gallons a day. So they would fill up.
A
It takes,
day?
yeah.
how much are these guys using these tractors? I didn't really think
I mean,
that.
it's
That's got to be a lot. Yeah.
yeah. So it holds about 280, almost 300 gallon tanks. What it has, and they'd fill it up 3 times a day, and then after we tuned it, it did it twice a day.
Yeah, I mean that's a big change. That's great.
Yeah, yeah. It was. I don't know. I don't think we've ever seen one quite that with that big of a difference.
Okay, so 2 questions I have for you. What do you feel like is going well in your business, and what do you feel like is not going well?
That's a really good question. So what's going well is I have some really good people in place.
Mm.
What's not going like for my diesel shop, what's not going well is I don't know how to structure it where it can run on its own, where I don't have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the tough part for me. Because I'm the guy that I spent 12 years wrenching myself, plus the 4 or 5 years at pipeline company. But most of it I learned when I did my own. So yeah, having putting resources in place or even SOPs where if they need something, where to go instead of having to ask me is the toughest part of that.
Let's talk about AI for a second. Are
Sure.
you using it? If so, how?
Not much. I use it more in the coaching space. Even the SOPs that I made, I had AI help me with it because I didn't know even what an SOP was. So I don't use it. I've tried to use it a little bit in the tuning space, but it doesn't know enough yet to really help with tuning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's it can't, what I found what it's really good at, if we're troubleshooting something. A good example is, so we have an M3 Freightliner in there, one of those smaller Freightliner trucks that usually either hauls a Porsche trailer or something like that. It has a small Mercedes engine in it. We put a different turbo on it, and none of the oil lines fit. So what we needed, we finally found what thread is in the turbo and what thread is on the truck in this oil line that we need. Well, it was a metric. The turbo and the engine have metric thread for the oil line, but the oil supply line that we can have made, because we have to make a custom line for this, are going to be the easiest one is JIC. So find what kind of fitting could we use to couple this together, and then that's where AI came in really in handy, because it would have taken me hours to Google this to find which ones go together. I put in AI what I needed. I need a 14 millimeter by 1.5 thread pitch by a 6 JIC or a 6 AN fitting, and it spit out, there's just this part number. So that was just a matter of finding who has it, and it was seconds, minutes instead of hours.
Where do you feel like there's an area in your business that you could be using AI but you're not? What's an area that you kind of like back in the early 2000s? I think there's an app for that. What is the area of your business that you wish you could really leverage AI?
Man, I really don't know. I mean, the tuning could do it. The thing is, once AI can accurately help you find maps, then the space is going to get crowded, and there's going to be a lot more competition as well. So I'm not really in a big hurry for it to get much better.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. What's one thing we haven't talked about today that you want to talk about? Could be ruck stuff, could be, anything that we haven't discussed that you get pretty excited about.
Yeah, I think it would be ruck stuff. So, because you talked about pillars earlier, you asked about pillars earlier. One of my biggest changes, on top of just realizing the power a mindset has that I got from ruck, is also taking care of my body. at doing workouts every morning. First of all, I always told myself I was not a morning person. When I came out of ruck, I started going to the gym. Well, the gym is super busy around 7 or 8, and I didn't like it, like trying to hunt for machines. So I started getting up early and earlier until I got up at like 20. Now I get 20 up 20 to 4 in the morning. And like I always said, I was not a morning person until I got up early enough. Like if I get up about 20 to 4, my whole mind is different. Like I am curious, my mind is sharp. All this. If I sleep until 8, it feels groggy, and that's a big shift. Like I didn't believe that I could ever be somebody that gets up early, and now it's almost a requirement. Like I pay a lot of attention to how my body works, like what works for me, what doesn't, and that's one that just works really well.
That's great. Well, Herman, if people want to learn more about who you are and what you do, where can they go?
Man, I don't have a website or anything. I mean, shoot me an email at hotrodherman@gmail.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, even the coaching, eventually there's going to be a website and everything, but I am still, like I have 2 clients, but they're people I know. So I'm learning how to do that well. So sooner or later there'll be a website up and they'll be available for the public. But right now I'm trying to refine my skills first.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and don't go anywhere because I want to keep chopping it up with you.
Sure.
But thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.